Hi, welcome back to the CLINUVEL podcast. I'm your host, Sarah. Today, we're going to try and understand pharmacovigilance and drug safety. And to do this, I've got with us Dr Azza Hamila, CLINUVEL's Head of Quality and Drug Safety. Hi, Azza. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me.
So before we start, I'd love to know a little bit more about your experience, Azza, and what your role entails within CLINUVEL.
Yes, of course. So I'm a pharmacist by training. I graduated in France, where I worked for a couple of pharmaceutical companies, some big pharma, but mostly orphan drugs companies. I joined CLINUVEL in the UK in 2015 when the company was launching Scenesse, our first authorized drug. And my role at the time was to implement the post-authorization systems supporting the launch. So the quality management system and the pharmacovigilance system. These systems were required for our drugs to remain safe, effective, and of high quality throughout their life cycle, even after they are approved and available on the market.
So I guess complying with these standards is key.
Absolutely. Both quality management and pharmacovigilance are very regulated fields in the pharmaceutical industry, which means compliance is essential. My role is to ensure that our systems are robust, responsive, and align with both international regulations like the good pharmacovigilance practices, the good manufacturing practices, the ACH guidelines, to mention only these, but also with national legislations when applicable. And as a member of the executive team, I make sure these functions are properly resourced, aligned, of course, with regulatory expectations, but also integrated into broader business risk and governance frameworks.
Wow, so there's a lot of regulation to keep track of then. But if we're going to take it back to basics, could you just explain what pharmacovigilance exactly is?
Sure. So, pharmacovigilance is the continuous monitoring of medicines even after they've been approved, focusing on identifying new or unexpected side effects in real world patients. It involves evaluating safety data and taking appropriate action to ensure that the medicine remains safe and effective for everyone.
And has it always existed in this way?
No, it all started with the thalidomide scandal in the early 1960s. It was the turning point in drug safety, resulting in the authorities re-evaluating drug regulation worldwide. Thalidomide, which was a drug prescribed to pregnant women for morning sickness, caused thousands of severe birth defects due to inadequate testing and oversight. The tragedy led to the establishment of a stricter drug approval process and the birth of modern pharmacovigilance as we know it today to ensure medicines remain safe throughout their life cycle.
And what protocols in particular did this inspire?
So, for example, in the USA, this tragedy led to the Drug Efficacy Amendment in 1962. It was a reform of the US Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act. These amendments required pharmaceutical companies to provide scientific proof of both safety and efficacy before a drug could be approved for marketing. They also strengthened the FDA's authority over drug regulation, mandated accurate disclosure in drug advertising, introduced good manufacturing practices, and emphasized informed consent in clinical trials. In short, it set a global standard for drug safety and consumer protection.
So, how do we evaluate the safety of a drug?
The safety of a drug is evaluated in clinical trial first through a structured multi-phase process. In phase 1, safety and dosage are tested in healthy volunteers. Phase 2 assesses safety and efficacy in patients. Phase 3 confirms effectiveness and monitors side effects in larger populations. And phase 4 continues safety surveillance post-approval. Safety as a study endpoint involves tracking adverse events, evaluating concomitant medications, and analyzing patterns in lab results such as changes in liver enzymes or cardiac biomarkers, and this to support benefit risk assessment and regulatory decisions. All safety data collected informs the drug's package insert or online patient information, helping doctors prescribe responsibly and enabling patients to understand potential risks.
I see, right. So it's quite robust then. But I understand despite all of this, we can never say that a drug is truly safe. Why is that?
We can never say that a drug is completely safe because all medicines carry some level of risk. No drug is without side effects. Safety can vary widely due to, for example, individual differences in genetics, age, health condition, or lifestyle, as well as drug to drug and drug to food interactions that may alter how a medicine works. In addition, unforeseen mechanisms or rare adverse events may only emerge after widespread use, especially in special populations like pregnant women, where case reports can reveal unexpected risks. Rather than claiming absolute safety, we focus on maintaining a favorable benefit risk profile, ensuring that the therapeutic benefits outweigh the potential harms.
I see, that makes sense. And how do we manage this risk at CLINUVEL?
Well, risk is managed through the pharmacovigilance system itself. So by continuously monitoring the safety data we receive from various sources, including clinical trials, for example. But the bulk of our safety data received for CNS today is actively collected from the PASS, the post-authorization safety study implemented in the EU in 2016. Every single adverse event, whether or not assessed as related to the drug by the reporter, is collected and analyzed by our PV team. The team also prepare periodic update safety reports where interval and cumulative data is evaluated and reported to the authorities. Analyzing data also involves detecting safety signals, evaluating the benefit-risk balance, and implementing risk minimization measures like patient information updates or revision of educational materials. All these activities ensure that any emerging risks are addressed promptly, keeping the drug's safety profile favorable and protecting patient health.
And how long will the PASS continue for?
There is no timelines for ending the PASS. However, our team submit on a yearly basis an update through the PASS intermediate report. However, after over 15 years of CNS use under compassionate use, special access, and commercial programs, we can confidently say that the drug has a strong safety profile and that the benefit-risk balance remains positive.
And what should someone do if they suspect a reaction to our drug?
Anyone can and should contact CLINUVEL to report any suspected adverse reactions via safety@clinuvel.com. And for those in the United States, they can call 1-800-FDA-1088.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Azza. It's been really great learning all about pharmacovigilance and the protocols in place to keep us all safe. To keep up to date with CLINUVEL, you can follow us on Instagram at CLINUVEL_pharmaceuticals.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.